So today we're going to talk about making a patch panel on the Brother PT-7600. There's several ways you can do this. Number one is that you can do this by utilizing the Brother P-Touch editor software back at the office, uploading the job to the machine then goes out to the field, the tech turns it on and prints the job. However, for some of the smaller jobs and for field use, that's what we're going to talk about today, manually doing a patch panel out in the field. The other two ways are you can do it by serializing the port identifiers in 6-packs, or you can do a 24-port continuous patch panel label. So let's go ahead, let's start by turning the machine on. The way that you cycle through the different types of labels on this machine is by utilizing this label type button, and as you can see, I can go through the various types of labels that this machine can print. So for today's demonstration, you want to select panel 1, which is your patch panel configurator. Now after that, what you want to do is you want to select the enter button. Now the enter button is this button right here. And so going forward, when I mentioned to hit the enter button, we're going to utilize this button right here. So after you've got this up, let's go ahead and hit enter. The block length. The block length is basically your port spacing, and by default it comes up at 1.20. So what you're going to do at this point is you want to utilize your P-Touch Edge handy dandy patch panel ruler, which is a clear ruler that you can get exact measurements on. And what you want to do is align this left edge here with the left edge of port number 1, and then go over to the left edge of port number 4 to get your measurement. So let's say for today's demonstration we're going to select a 0.71. Now you can use the up and down arrows to change the block length, or you can just type it in. I'm going to utilize the down arrow to get the 0.71. Once I get to 0.71, hit that enter button that I showed you earlier. It's going to take you to a blank screen, and this is where you put your first port identifier in. So we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to go A01. At this point, we want to serialize this job, and it's a two-step process in serializing the job, but while holding down the code key, you're also at the same time going to simultaneously press the label type button, which is the print options. So let's hold the code down. Here's your print options. As you can see, it says copies right now. We want to right arrow over to number. And then because we're going to do this configurator in 6s, let's up arrow to 6. Now we're going to hit enter. As you can see, we're just going to do 1 through 6. So we're only changing one number, one digit in the variables. So when it asks to start, we're going to start on the 1. We're also going to end on the 1. Now the screen gives you the print option. You can go ahead and hit enter. It's very important while this thing starts printing, and while it is printing, never to touch the cutter button until it either prompts you to on the screen or it's done printing. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit cut, and it's going to come out with a little bit of waste, and that waste again is what we call the leader. And the leader is the tape that runs through the pinch roller, and so all manufacturers have that. You're never going to get away from it. However, all the tape we offer has 26.2 feet, which is quite a bit more than the competition. So right now at this point, the printer is done printing. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and I'll show you what I produced. And here we go, A01 through A06. Now if I want to do the next batch, what you're going to have to do is there is a cursor that I'm going to move to the right of the 1. I'm going to backspace it. I'm going to press in 7 because obviously we ended on 6. So as I press 7, we're going to do the same thing with the code button and the print option. Right arrow over to number. Let's do the next 6. Now here's where it gets important. Because we're now changing 2 digits, all right, we're going to end up going from A07 through A12, which means that we're going to have the 0 destination is going to change into a 1 eventually, and then the 7 into a 2. What we want to do is we want to, when you are doing 2 digits, we want to select the 0 as the start point, and we want to select the 7 as the end point, and let's hit the enter button. So there's our little bit of waste. Let's go ahead and let's cut that waste off. Again, don't touch the cutter button here while it's printing, because you will get a screen that is going to tell you it's an error message. All right, we're done with that one. So let's cut that, and now we have A07 through A12, and you can continue going through this process up to your 24 port designator, or 48 port, whatever you want to do. The other way to do this patch panel configuration is, let's go back to A01. So I'm going to move the cursor to the right of the 7. I'm going to clear it. I'm going to put my 1 back in. We're going to serialize, so it's code, print options, right arrow over to number. Let's go up to 24 this time. Now we're going to do a continuous label at this point, and I'm going to hit the enter. Because we're changing 2 digits, we want to start on the 1, so start. The 0 is highlighted. I'm going to hit the enter button. I'm going to right cursor over to the 1 and hit enter, and then I'm going to hit start. It's going to print off my little bit of waste. Let's cut that. Now while this thing is printing, the types of tapes to use on a patch panel is typically a 9mm or a 3/8, which means that you can use the TZE 221, the TZES 221 for any type of powder coated or porous surfaces, or you can use the HGE 221, for patch panels, and also this is good for faceplates. So we're just about done printing right now, and I'll cut it and show you what it looks like. So let's cut it. Now, as you can see, I've got a continuous A01 through A24. Whoop. What I can do with this is I can go over here to A06 and I can snip it right there, and I can put that up on my patch panel, and then come over here to 12, snip that, put it on the patch panel, and so forth and whatnot. So really those are the 3 different ways that you can do the patch panel configurator on here. One of the other things you can do is, as you can see, I have printed this without any delineation in between. You can actually select your delineation if you go into the label type. Let's do panel 1. I'm going to hit the panel 1. If you right arrow over, you can see where it says frame. Now you can select the frame. If I hit the up arrow, here's some different options for the frames that you can put in. I personally like the broken lines in between, but again, that's up to you. And if you wanted to select that, you would just leave it on that particular frame and hit the enter button. And now you're going to have the frames in between. So again, that's a way to do a patch panel on a Brother PT-7600.